Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Call the meeting to order. Introductions. We have the Vice Chair, Mr. Darius Thompson. I'm Chair, Dwayne Staples. Mr. Short could not make it tonight, and I heard from the Chair of the Select Board. He had another meeting come up that he had to go to, so he is not going to be here tonight. Next item on the agenda, approve the minutes of the January 18th, 2023 meeting. Did you note any errors or omissions in that?
No.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept the meetings, accept the minutes, excuse me.
Second?
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The minutes have been approved. Next item on the agenda is public comment. I want to thank Mr. Danzo for being here. Do you want to hold your comments, or do you have any?
No comment.
Okay. Actually, most of this agenda is more of a placeholding than for us. So the next is the planting along the fence behind the Harris Center, which we've talked about. We can't really get in there at this point with the construction that's still going on with the sewer placement. But we do have the plant list from the original planting. What I'd like to do is, I don't know if we can do it in March or we'll do it in April, have a site walk meeting down there to go along and pick what we want to do and what plant material we want to put in off of the original planting. The one thing I will say about the original planting is a lot of the plants that they used then are on the invasive list now, so we can pick what should be a native plant at this point and do the planting accordingly.
So, point of inquiry, native plant that would be non-invasive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, New Hampshire has an invasive list. I think there's, I don't know, 40 or so plants on it. It keeps changing, but yeah, it would be a non-invasive.
Okay, cool.
List. Next item is tree and shrub pruning. The shrub pruning is done. That would be another item that I think we can cover when we do a site walk, because again, I have talked about some of that plant material should be pulled out. I know I met with a contractor. We went over what I felt needed to be done with a lot of that plant material. A lot of it we had cut back. A lot of that is invasive. The privets down there, the variety of honeysuckle, only because of when it was planted. That wasn't part of the original planting, but over the years they planted shrubbery, and there's some Norway maples down there that are on the invasive list now also. So I'd like to walk through. I know we've had discussions about that, but I think it would be a good time to look and target some of that for the next couple of years to be replaced and redone down there.
So just
That's for the shrub pruning. The tree pruning we haven't addressed at this point because of the sewer project.
right. With the removal of the plants that are invasive, will that have to be done like year over year to get rid of them eventually? Or
No. Just to give you an example, like the privets down there, those particular variety of privets are on the invasive list now. So once they get removed, we can replant, different native shrubs in where they are, or we can just make it into lawn.
Okay.
Depending on how we want to, if we want to follow the original design or just kind of tweak that design. for instance, there are some privets underneath one of the Norway maples down there. It's in the shade. My thought on some of that is, we can do some oak leaf hydrangea, which is now labeled as native in some of the nurseries. So, it's in the shade. They would do good. I have not seen any signs of deer down there. So, which that oak leaf maple is like filet mignon to a deer. So, but there are some other plant material varieties that can be put down there too. So, I think we can make it attractive with some native plants, flowering native plants, and native plants that will bury and attract some wildlife, some birds. So, and like I said, the tree pruning, we can't get to at this point. So, which that brings me down to the next item, which is the sewer project. I was at a meeting this morning, construction meeting. They have completed the pilot hole all the way through. They have started to work on reaming that out to make that bigger. But certainly that project has been delayed because of some of the challenges that they've run into. So they don't have a definitive time for an end at this point. The thought was that probably next week they would have a better handle on when that should be done. So that's
good news, but we're going to have a cold snap here soon.
They can drill. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That I've talked with the what you would call the clerk of the works from Wright Pierce down there. I try and go down at least once a week, and he said it doesn't matter if it snows or rains, they still can bore. So
cool.
I think the only challenge with the weather is that the company that's doing the boring is from upstate Vermont, up around Burlington and beyond. So for them to travel back and forth with any type of inclement weather is a challenge for them. So I think that would be the only thing that would kind of delay them a little bit further at this point. But no, everybody was really upbeat today at the meeting. They're happy and relieved that they've got that first pilot hole through. They were saying that now that they're reaming, they can do a little bit more than what they thought per day. So now let's just keep our fingers crossed that they can get that first pipe through there. So without too much more of a challenge on that one.
First one's always the hardest.
Yeah. It's actually it's pretty interesting what they've had to go through, and with the Army Corps of Engineers involved and all that. So way more than I thought that would have to happen. So
this is just a question, probably to the select board or to the Exeter TV. With such a cool project like that, just wondering if they were documenting, the story of how it was done.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Exeter TV is doing anything with the documentation. I will say that they had a boat out there, and actually Mark had seen it the other day, and it was out yesterday when I was down there. They were doing some type of sonar mapping of the ledge, because this pipe is lower than the original pipe that's used for the sewer now. So So yeah, it was kind of neat watching them go back and forth. And, luckily there's no ice in the river, so they were able to do that, so.
Some come up soon. So if I understand what you're saying, is that here's the bottom of the river, then there's ledge, and so the current pipe, for sake of discussion, kind of sits here, and they're going from here lower, and then tying back up into it.
Correct.
Okay.
The current pipe was just dug and put into kind of like a dug ditch, is my understanding, how it was explained to me. So the current pipe is only about, it's not very far below the riverbed.
Gotcha.
Maybe 4 to 8 feet. The old pipe.
Right.
The new pipe, though, has to be a minimum of 20 feet. My understanding is they bored down 30 feet down, and then they have to come up on the other side of the river. So, and that was to meet today's standards. So, yeah, so the new pipe is way deeper, is going to be way deeper, and it's the old pipe is cast iron. The new pipe is some type of polypropylene pipe. So they said, that pipe should last 100 years.
You call it breaks.
Yeah. So anyways, nope, everybody was very upbeat. The contractors were happy. I think they did, somebody filmed the bore coming out on the other side of the river. They were talking about that today.
Cool.
So yeah. I think the only challenge is that's going to be probably taking a little bit longer than what they had expected. The fund balances, I know I got that from Laura, and I did send it out, a copy to you and Dave individually. So I know that also I have the letter for the transfer of funds that we were over. That's going to come out of the maintenance fund. So it looks like we have there's a big balance in that maintenance fund. Just for round figures, we have to transfer out $15,500 back to the town because that's what we were over this year. But I'm pretty sure on the article that was put in to transfer from the town to us, it's around $3,600. So, there's, I don't have those exact figures, but that goes to vote. So that's the fees that were collected, and that will go back into that maintenance fund.
And just a point of inquiry, maybe the select board can answer this, or maybe the town manager can answer. With the unassigned fund balance, have we ever received any funding or additional things to cover things from the unassigned fund balance if we actually go over our allotment or budget for the year?
Not to my knowledge. Mark, do you ever remember getting anything from the unassigned fund balance? No, we get the permitting fees, or the fees that people pay, and then we do get, I think we get quarterly payments from the trust out in Ohio. So we do get those. I did, in looking at some of our expenditures, I had a conversation with Nico to see if we might be able to get a little bit more support for the electrical. The budget for the electrical was $950. The cost that was expended was over $1,500. So I asked how we could do that. So I'm sure he will let us know in March.
So just point of clarification, understanding. The electrical is primarily for the lights.
Correct.
All right. But when there are other users of the pavilion, when they're holding events and doing things there, they're using electricity, if I'm understanding.
That's correct. That's my understanding also, yes.
Okay. And then the pavilion, just for clarification, is a town-owned property.
Technically, yes. We don't have anything to do. We don't permit the pavilion.
Correct.
We don't do. We did give money to the roof repair.
Right.
Out of the, actually, let me just back up, because in our funds, there is, that we get a report on, the Swasey Parkway Pavilion Maintenance Fund is listed with us, but we don't control that, the rental on that building or anything.
Yeah, I understand that, but the concern that if we were budgeting $950 for electrical and we had more events occurred, the only thing I can see is an increase in electricity is either one, the rates have gone up, which could be the case, but if the usage has gone up because of the events that are held there and they're using the pavilion, they're using electricity, it's a town thing. There should be something that's an offset coming back either from the unassigned fund balance to help offset that difference. Just a thought.
Yeah, and again, that goes back before me, but I inquired, I did do an inquiry about that, because when I was looking at this, there's a pretty big discrepancy there. So I would like to see us get that a little bit closer.
Right. And
it's just a question of how we do it.
right.
So
Whether it's something that comes from the unassigned fund balance, so offset that for being charged for it, or if it's something that if it's the town's responsible for that pavilion and we provide support to it, that electricity, there needs to be some type of offset to cover that cost. That's all.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's any other questions on that. Those were pretty straightforward. The next item is other business, but I want to skip over to the meeting date line there.
Sure.
Our meeting dates, and I know that I have talked with you and Dave about this. Coming out of the committee, they had an all-committee meeting a couple weeks ago, and it was stated that if you get your meetings in for the year, that would be a nice way so that Pam can keep track of that. Before COVID, the Board of Trustees had picked the third Wednesday of the month for our meetings. I know that I have tried to keep that, but I don't always get it into Pam right after our meeting. But so I think both you and Dave have said that that Wednesday is still good for you guys?
Yes.
The third Wednesday?
It's a lot better for me now.
Well, and the reason that we picked that, I mean, Mr. Danzel was on the board at the time, was we looked at everything, that all the different committees and that was meeting with the town, and that was the most open one from month to month. So if you don't have any problem with it, I will send Pam an email and those dates throughout the year, because we can cancel a meeting up to 10 minutes before the meeting. I can't always schedule a meeting, so I will put that together and send that out to Pam, and we can go from there.
Okay.
All right, does that make sense?
If you need a motion, I'll make one, but otherwise I think we're good.
No, I just want to make sure that.
That's fine. The third Wednesday of every month works for me.
And I'll go through and do that. Now, I know historically, we normally don't meet in December, because
That's a wise decision.
yeah, because that's pretty close to Christmas. And I think too, our November meeting, how we've done the maintenance bid, because the last few years, we normally will open it in November, and we have had to, we meet after Thanksgiving, so.
Right, which is fine.
But we can kind of tweak that, I think, as we go along, because I want to keep that either side of Thanksgiving.
And having that spread out for the whole year, you know when the meetings are, you can lock it in.
Correct.
You can always change at the last minute, so it's
Correct. Correct. And we can always, for me, I don't think it matters whether we do a meeting here or we have a sidewalk meeting. It's still going to be that third Wednesday.
That's fine.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll do that. All right, that brings us to other business. Anything?
Bueller? No, I just, my only other business is that it would be nice if they could have done both projects at the same time, but that's neither here nor there, so.
Well, I would, let me just say that having attended the construction meetings and, doing landscape work over the years, you don't always know what's in the ground. And they, I'm going to go out on a little bit on a limb here. The contractor was as surprised as anybody to find, what with the ledge and the type of ledge and all that underneath the river. So I think that they've handled it the best way that they can, and now that they've got through, they know what they're up against. They know, how to proceed with that, and I think that that any future projects should go a little bit. I don't want to say easier, but they'll be a little bit more prepared.
So to that point, this is our future selves creating memories, right? We're creating memories today for our future selves. So do you know if they're going to share that information with the town of what's there, or the engineers of what's there in the town, of what they found relative to what they're going to do for the next project, so that when we come to that, they'll always have as a resource to say, hey, these are the things we found in this location, so they can be prepared if the construction or the engineering or whoever is going to is different, there's another contractor coming in to do the work for the future project.
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. That would be a good thing for one, if not the town, maybe we could find out and say, this is what we had certified, this is what they all found, here's the information, take that as part of the proposal. So when it goes out, they'll know what they're dealing with, and then,
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a definitive answer on that.
Okay.
I would hope that somewhere that information is cataloged, because I was under the impression too that the old pipes were bored down through there, and then when I talked with, like I said, the person from Wright Pierce, who's kind of the clerk of the works, he was telling me that no, that wasn't the case. So I was under the wrong impression. So they're way down below, and if the river ever needs to be dredged,
it won't be a problem because you're going to hit ledge.
Yeah. So
this is the siphon one. Is there another pipe that's nearby, or are they located, or do they know?
There's two pipes that are running right now from JD Hill down.
Right.
They're doing one, and I think those are 10-inch pipes. Don't quote me on that. They're trying to, the first pipe that's going to be going through is a 12-inch pipe, so that should handle the flow if the one or both of the other pipes fail, is my understanding. And then there's supposed to be 2 more pipes that are going to be, that are possibly going to be bored and installed underneath there. Those are smaller than the 12-inch ones. I think those are 10-inch. But again, I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
I know the 12-inch one is definitely going to be installed.
And they're going to be in about the same location, so whenever they do the second project, the road has to be closed to do what they're doing. Potentially.
I'm not 100% sure on that one either.
Okay.
Because I don't think
Right.
that, I think the other project is not on anybody's mind right at this point with trying to get this,
Trying to get the first one done first, yes.
correct.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
anything else?
No, just happy Ash Wednesday to everybody.
Mark?
No, thank you. No.
Oh, actually, you know what? Mark did send me we've had a couple of the granite posts that got hit by cars, didn't break them. Mark had sent me pictures, and he straightened them up and fixed them. One was way down at the end, at the Newfields Road end.
So these are the granite posts that outline the outside of by the road?
Well, one of them, if you go down the sidewalk and out the Newfields end, there's some granite posts with wooden posts in between.
Right.
One of those had gotten hit. Mark straightened that up. And then what the town people that have lived in town would call by Sergeant's Hill, there was one hit there and there was a lot of debris there, but it had shifted the post, so Mark straightened that one up and put the rails back in the best he could. So
Thank you.
Mark had done that. So yes, thank you.
I would just say that, excuse me, at some point in time, if we can just take a look at that, it seems like as you're going out of town down Water Street across from Sergeant's old house, what they used to do is they used to wrap lead around that
Yep.
and stick them in them granite posts because the lead can move. But that car, I don't know if it was the car that hit the pillar there, but the pillars have all shifted. So I got the bottom one in, but the top one, we either need to get a longer one or push that granite. And it's not the end of the world, but they're bothering me because both of them are on the ground.
Yeah,
So I did the
gotcha.
best I can. for now.
Gotcha. Like I said, I saw it. I had gotten your text that you had fixed it. I haven't gone back to look.
That's fine.
I know that you had said that the top post is still out, so we'll take a look at that.
Yep.
But thank you. I wanted to make sure that I
Thank you.
thanked you for fixing that. Beyond that, I have nothing else. The next meeting in March will be March 15th, the third Wednesday.
In this room?
I don't know if it'll be in this one. I will try and get the NOAC room. I was a little bit, when I first looked at this month's meeting, the NOAC room was available, and then when I went back, it wasn't. So I will try and get the NOAC room. I will see. I'll let you guys know which room it's going to be in. And then, and we have the election coming up. So,
All good stuff. So I make a motion that there's no further business.
none.
Okay. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we adjourn at 5:31.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.